How are you, NFL fan? If you are like me, you simply cannot wait for the 2020 season to begin after going through these tough times. In case you don't know me yet, I'm Professor MJ and I teach statistics at a Canadian university. I've been involved in the sports betting business for 20 years, and I now use my statistical knowledge to beat the bookies. Today, I'm going to preview the 2020 season for the Las Vegas Raiders. I'll analyze their offense, their defense, and I'll say a few words about one of the best bargains available right now on win totals, which concerns whether the Raiders will win more or less than 7.5 games this year. Let's do this! The Raiders provided some hope to their faithful Oakland fans about potentially making the playoffs in their final year in the Bay Area with a 6-4 record through 10 games. However, the team stumbled down the stretch. Despite facing 4 teams with a losing record, the Raiders managed a single win over their final 6 meetings. They closed out their final year in Oakland with a 7-9 record. The franchise moves to Las Vegas in 2020, and management made many changes that they hope will make it a successful season. Let's talk about the Raiders quarterbacks. When you hear talks about durable quarterbacks in the NFL, Derek Carr's name probably does not come up in your head right away. And yet, he has played 94 of 96 games in his career thus far. He did suffer some injuries, but played through them. He is an underrated, tough guy, in my opinion. From a performance basis, he enjoyed a fairly good 2019 season, despite a below-average surrounding cast. Throwing just 21 TD passes is not a great output, but he only threw 8 interceptions and still racked up more than 4,000 passing yards, his career high, by the way. More impressive was his completion rate. Indeed, 70% of his passes were caught, even though his cast of receivers does not have the best hands. Only Drew Brees had a better completion percentage among all starting QBs. The team improved the number 2 QB position by signing former Titan Marcus Mariota. He pocketed a pretty lucrative contract, which suggests he'll be given a shot to get the starting nod if Carr does not lead the team to a positive record. The former number 2 overall pick out of Oregon was awful last year. He was eventually replaced by Ryan Tannehill, who played like a MVP and led Tennessee all the way to the AFC Championship game. Mariota completed just 59% of his passes, the lowest rate of his career, and he also threw just 7 TD passes in 7 games. Despite Mariota's struggles, he is a better alternative than Mike Glennon. Therefore, we can view this position as an upgrade over 2019. Now, what about the running back position? Josh Jacobs' rookie season was a resounding success. The former Crimson Tide rushed for 1,150 yards while posting a very impressive 4.8 yards per carry average. He also led the league in elusive rating as determined by Pro Football Focus. The team's second leading rusher, DeAndre Washington, left for Kansas City. So it leaves the backup spot open for Jalen Richard. The undrafted guy has not missed a single game over his 4-year stint in the NFL. What's concerning about him though is the fact that his yards per rush average has dropped every single year. It took a huge dip in 2019, dropping from 4.7 to 3.7. He's more of a passing down back, and the team may be in trouble if they need to rely on him as a starter, if Jacobs goes down. It's time to talk about the wide receivers. It's not a good sign when your leading wide receiver catches just 49 balls. And yet, that's exactly what happened with the Raiders last year. 5th round rookie Hunter Renfrow took the most out of the opportunities that were given to him, and he became one of Derek Carr's favorite targets, especially in the second half of the regular season. He even cleared the 100 receiving yard mark in each of the last 2 games of the season. Things are looking up for him. Back in 2016, Tyrell Williams showed a lot of promise with the Chargers with 69 receptions, close to 1,100 receiving yards and 7 TDs, but he has not come close to those numbers ever again. As a matter of fact, his last 3 years have been very similar, statistically speaking, between 41 and 43 catches, close to 700 yards, and 4 to 6 TDs. Now, is there any chance he goes back to the dominating receiver we saw in 2016? Well, unfortunately, I think the chances are slim. Outside of these 2 guys, there was not much production out of the wide receiver position. The team tried to upgrade by signing Nelson Agholor. The former first-round pick from the Eagles has not lived up to expectations, and his 2019 season was pretty bad. He struggled with drops and he only caught 39 passes in 11 games. And considering the Eagles were not loaded at the position, that was disappointing. The Raiders decided to upgrade the position through the draft by taking Henry Ruggs with the 12th overall pick. Ruggs equals speed, speed, speed. He was a high school sprinter and it shows on the football field. He is a Tyreek Hill type of receiver. It's time to talk about the tight end position. Darren Waller had one of the most mind-boggling seasons of all NFL players. He was a 6th round pick in the 2015 draft, and he had only caught 18 passes in 4 years. And then, boom! He burst onto the scene with 90 receptions, more than 1,100 yards and 3 TDs. He literally came out of nowhere. 4th round rookie Foster Moreau had a decent season. He only caught 21 passes, but surprised many with 5 TDs. He missed the final 3 games because of a knee injury, but his rehab is going well. The team added more depth by signing Jason Witten. He will play his age 38 campaign, and he has clearly showed signs of slowing down. His 63 receptions for 529 yards with Dallas may not sound too bad to you, but his 8.4 yards per catch average was his lowest of his career. Let's move on to the offensive line position. This unit allowed the 8th fewest sacks in the league last year. They have a bunch of guys who are either average or above average. So in other words, they don't have any glaring holes, and the good news is they are all returning in 2020. Kolton Miller protects Derek Carr's blind side. He struggled mightily as a rookie, but he improved a lot last year. Meanwhile, right tackle Trent Brown was elected to the Pro Bowl. Center Rodney Hudson has received consistently good grades from Pro Football Focus over his 9-year career, and he also earned Pro Bowl selections a few times. He will be 31 when the season begins, so the team hopes his play won't deteriorate. Gabe Jackson had a bit of a down year in 2019, and he also missed 5 games because of a MCL injury. And finally, Richie Incognito wildly exceeded expectations last year. After being out of the league in 2018 with strange off-the-field issues, the 36-year-old finished as the 13th best guard in the NFL out of 81 guys. The team rewarded him with a nice 2-year contract, but keep in mind that a drop-off is a possible scenario, either because of his age or off-the-field troubles. So what can we expect from the Raiders' 2020 offense? At QB, wide receiver, and tight end, the team improved its depth by acquiring Marcus Mariota, Henry Ruggs, Nelson Agholor, and Jason Witten. On offense, only DeAndre Washington's departure might hurt the team. He was a reliable number 2 guy. However, the team is set with Josh Jacobs, a star in the making, who may even progress next season. Finally, the whole offensive line is returning. Having the same faces for a second straight year is a big plus. In summary, all 2019 starters are back, while generally improving the team's depth. So for this reason, I expect a small upgrade overall. The Raiders' defense finished 24th in points allowed per game last year. What can we expect in 2020? My breakdown by position shows an upgrade at all positions except at cornerback. The interior of the line added Maliek Collins from Dallas. At edge, the team basically swapped Benson Mayowa for Nassib, which is a slight positive to me. The team will also benefit from Maxx Crosby and Clelin Ferrell now having 1 year of experience under their belt. At linebacker, the Raiders are clearly in better shape than last year. Tahir Whitehead is gone, but Cory Littleton and Nick Kwiatkowski bring 2 immediate starters, and both of which are superior to Whitehead for sure. Finally, safety Karl Joseph packed his bags for Cleveland, but signing Damarious Randall and Jeff Heath makes up for the loss. Add the fact that 2019 first-round pick Johnathan Abram will finally get to see the field after missing the entire season, and you've got a big improvement at the position. Cornerbacks do bring question marks though. They were not great last year, and their most used player is gone, Tyrell Williams. The net result from all of these additions and departures on defense definitely favor the Raiders. I'm wary of the high number of new faces though. It might take time to gel, especially if training camps are shortened. Instead of going with a moderate upgrade, I'll go with a small upgrade for this group. As mentioned earlier, they allowed the 24th fewest points in the NFL last year, and I expect them to finish in the 16th to 23rd range in 2020. Wow, this is the next to last team preview. I started on July 1st with the team whose return on investment, also called ROI, was the lowest in the league, with respect to my betting tips on the number of regular season wins. The next day, I talked about the team whose ROI was 31st in the league, and so on. Since the Raiders correspond to the next to last video, this means we have now reached the pick whose ROI is the second highest in the entire NFL. Should we bet the Raiders to win over or under 7.5 games this year? According to the statistical study I told you about numerous times in previous videos, the answer generates a ROI of 42.4% on the Raiders. The top 10 picks whose ROI all exceed 24% are ready for you to download for $500. That's a bargain compared to your expected winnings, provided that you are okay betting at least $500 per play. Otherwise, this product may not be suitable for you. I'm going to bet a large amount of money on the Raiders win total. More specifically, I will invest over $150,000 US on the very best plays when I go to Vegas later this summer. I have a lot of faith in my statistical analyses. Join me and the other smart sports investors who have already grabbed this gold package. Look for the link below. I'm Professor MJ. I'm looking forward to collect my winnings later this year along with you.